if you'll see on the list here, we're going to see how to notice when you've got a new content uploaded to one of your channels. First off, use the little 3 bars, select your channel. When you come down the side, you see a little black dot beside the channel name. That means that there's new content there. Every time you find a channel with new content, there'll be a little black dot right beside it. Alright? As long as you've got the notification bell clicked, you're going to see a little black dot when there's new material, new upload to that channel. That's the new Google way of letting you know that there's new content on one of the channels you're subscribed to. Alright? Look for the little dot to the side. That's all you got to do. Welcome to Amateur Redneck Workshop. I'm Harold, the resident redneck. Okay? And everybody is making one of those Tom Lipton deburring fixtures. Everybody I look at, I saw Steve Lang, he did it and sent me a drawing. I just got through a minute ago watching Mr. Pragmatic Lee. You know, he made one, surface ground it and all that sort of thing. And I'm not going to surface grind anything because I don't have a surface grinder. And you're going to say, well, how are you going to use it for a deburring tool? Well, you'll find that out. I do have a grinder. Alright, so anyway, I imagine that probably about now Tom Lipton can feel a disturbance in the force, because you know I'm not going to go exactly by his plans. I'm going to deviate a lot from his plans, and that's the way it is when you're a deviant redneck. There you go. So nevertheless, we're going to do it our way, and we'll see how it comes out. You know what the man says, our way or the highway, right? We'll see what we get. Oh, just came back, been out of town for a week, and that's why I don't have the right size piece of metal, is because I'm broke from the trip and all that. Went on a trip up to see the in-laws for a big chow making convention, and the ladies made a couple of cases of chow, and it was sure a lot of work. I even got involved a little bit and cut my thumb trying to chop up the cabbage, and then they ran me off. Told me I was too careless to be cutting stuff. So there you are. Anyway, a lot of you probably don't know what chow is. Look it up in the Wikipedia. Alright, I keep saying no more hoses, but this is the last time I'm going to bring up hoses. This is a Dixon ferrule. It's got a left-hand thread in it, and you can just screw it right down on the hose. Of course, you have to screw it to the left. You know, can't turn right with the left-hand thread. Screw it down on the end of the hose, and then once you get it screwed down, you screw in this guy right here. Okay. Now, Colin, the fellow that runs the Comp Edge X channel, said you can do this with just 2 wrenches. But actually, if you're a redneck, you can do it with just 1 wrench. Just take it, put the end in the vise. That'll hold it for you. Take the little stem part, screw it in there. Now, I don't know if I should have put tape on that or not to keep it from leaking, but being brass screwed into the rubber, I would be willing to bet I don't. I'm going to finish screwing it in off camera. There you go. Different sizes and flavors of fittings. I'm going to use this instead of the other stuff until this is used up, and then maybe I'll get desperate enough to use the other stuff. But this was the way I should have went in the first place. Every project starts on a saw. Well, it rained aluminum chips, but it cut that little booger. Now I'll clean up my mess and then we'll move on. Okay, this is what the setup is going to be. It's going to be my grizzly tilting table on top of the mill table. You can see it's got a graduated scale, hold down bolts under it, and I'm going to make sure it's straight with the table. Alright, that's a good picture of the little booger. So let me move over till we touch. I move the traditional 0 to the top. What the heck? I'm sure this isn't straight right now. And obviously it's not. That's the limits of the movement. So let's tighten it down some there and see if it stays. That's not too bad for whacking it with an old redneck fist. Alright, so we'll try it again now and see if it stays. Down to the stops, and I think that's a good place to stop. It didn't move. As you can see, I run this over to the stop, so the stop's where you stop, I guess. Alright, let me get this put up and we'll get on with the next thing. Alright, I've marked off 3 holes. These are Tom Lipton's lightning holes, but they're not going to be used to lighten the thing. After all, it's aluminum. They're going to be drilled to 3/8 inches so I can use them for T-nuts to hold it down on that tilt table. So it's sort of following the plan, even though it's probably causing Tom to feel a disturbance in the force. Drill them and thrill them. And so it'll go 3 times off screen, off camera. Now a nice bandsaw would be good to cut this with, but I don't have a nice bandsaw. So I'm going to whittle out the inner part of that before I ever put it on the tilt table. That'll work out. There's going to be a lot of this. There'll be a lot of that. I'm going to do a lot of that off camera. Well, that's the part of the chips that didn't go down the vacuum cleaner. But I've got the thing sort of hollowed out now. Looking at it from this angle, you can see that I've worked out to most of the V part. And doing that, I kept thinking to myself, I wish I had a good bandsaw. But I learned better than to say I'd give anything for a good bandsaw, because obviously I wouldn't, or I'd have one, right? Alright, I've got the block setting up there, and you can see there's graduations there for the degrees. and I already know that I'm not going to go by those. I mean, I could, but I'm not. And what I'm going to do to figure out the angle is use this little guy right here. Now that may or may not be level, but I've zeroed it there. Excuse me. And that cube believes that's level. And that's flat with the bottom of our block, our chamfering block. And we're going to lean this little booger over until we get 45 degrees. I'll bring you right back in just a second. Alright, so let's work on rolling it over to 45 degrees. Now this doesn't have any kind of a little screw or anything to make it, you know, go smooth and easy, so naturally it's not going to go smooth and easy. Yes, I'm going to bring you guys back when I've got it leveled off. This is obviously going to take me a little while. Alright, it's sitting on 45 degrees. The tool's happy. I'm happy. So I will, somebody needing a political contribution. I will get the right collet, the right end mill, and then we'll start flattening off the sides. Okay, my first job is kind of work this in towards that line right there. I think you can see the line. And we'll just have to do that slow and easy. Lift the knee a tiny bit and cut more into this little V here before I start straightening up these sides, or start straightening up that side. And I'm going to do that, most of that off camera. I don't think I'd want to watch that thing going back and forth. Pretty sure you don't either.